I welcome everyone to the second part of the video. I hope you have already watched the first part and you liked it. Do not forget to add comments. Your opinion about the stories is important to me. Well, let's get started. The first story and the second part from the user. Educational pick, let's listen. I, 30 female, have a 14-year-old daughter, Leah. Married my husband, Mark, 46 male, 6 years ago. He has 2 children from a previous marriage, Koi, 16 male, and Coral, 14 female. Me and Mark have the kids full-time, but his kids live with their mom for a few weeks. During the summer, they moved into my lake house, which has 5 bedrooms. 2 of the bedrooms upstairs have bathrooms. My daughter had one of those rooms. But as the girls began high school, Coral began complaining about not having a bathroom and said it's unfair. Mark and Koi told her to stop complaining. Leah said it was fine and asked us if she could turn the basement into her room. I didn't like that idea, but she begged. So I agreed. Turns out my daughter wanted a room makeover, so this worked out. We give the kids allowance and allowed them to get a work permit. Koi worked at an arcade and told the girls he could get them jobs. Coral refused to work, but Leah agreed. After 5 months of saving her allowance, she able to buy everything she needed to decorate. Coral never bothered to go down there because she believed it was full of spiders. But Koi was down there every day helping her. After a week, she completely transformed the basement. She invited everyone down, and it was stunning. I didn't even know that computer towers could be clear. She looked so proud. Coral then screamed that it wasn't fair and that she wanted the basement now. Everyone began yelling at her, but she began crying, and before we know it, she ran over to the computer and threw the tower on the ground. The glass shattered, and one of the monitors fell to the floor, also breaking. My daughter cried. I explained to Mark that Coral has to pay for this. He said her emotions are just high, and that we'll get situated when everything calms down. I ran to Coral and yelled, saying that she's on punishment. Mark didn't agree, but I didn't care. Coral was unnecessarily crying and ran to her mother's car. Koi was trying to help my daughter, and Mark tried to hand her $300, but Koi explained that Coral caused about $1,000 worth of damages. He said luckily the expensive pieces in the case were saved, but the case itself was about $450 and the monitor was $200. Mark explained that he doesn't have that kind of money. So I said she can't come back until my daughter's stuff is repaired with a sincere apology. Koi agreed, and Mark was upset, saying he couldn't do that to his daughter. I told him to leave if that's the case. Mark left for a few hours and handed my daughter a check for $1,000. Og då så det var son. Då så det så kan ta morsted bearer fars. I explained that Coral can't come back if there is no punishment. My husband's ex-wife is saying that I'm banning her from our home because she didn't deserve that bigger space and that we were treating Coral unfairly. But I said she did that. There was nothing unfair about the situation. The ex just hung up. Now my husband's ex-in-laws are bombarding him with phone calls saying he's a horrible dad. His sister even said he's being a bad parent and they're best friends, so it's really getting to him. This happened last night and he hasn't gotten up yet. Should I apologize? Author update this story. I found out the complete story, and there is a lot of drama. It's over a boy. So both my daughters are cheerleaders, and it's a Valentine's Day dance coming up. All of Coral's friends are cheerleaders, and they all date football players except her. So for the past month, her friends have been trying to hook her up with Brad. But it turns out he is interested in Leah. After all the games, Brad talked with Leah. So Coral came up with a rumor that Leah plays Roblox. It's not really a rumor, but Brad found out. So after school, a few days before the incident, Coral tells Brad how childish Leah is for still playing Roblox. And Brad says he doesn't think it's childish. Turns out him and his friends play and then invited Leah to join them. Then yesterday after school in the hallway, Brad had his friends recorded this big proposal to the dance that included flowers and chocolate, and Leah accepted. Apparently, Coral was crying at cheerleading practice, and Leah went up to ask what's wrong and if she needs anything. Coral and her friends started cursing Leah out, so Leah just backed off. Then this morning, Coral posted on Facebook about how Leah is the favorite child and that she was kicked out of her decorated bedroom in order for Leah to have it. Her mom, Drea, had also posted something similar. Coy didn't want this to ruin Leia's reputation, so he posted everything about their lies. He also posted a picture of the shattered case and explained how everything Coral said was a lie and how Leia was nice enough to give up her bedroom. Drea also called us some horrible names. Then Coy responded that the reason the custody is no longer 50-50 is because Drea's husband hates kids. Apparently Coral didn't know this, but Drea sent my husband a text saying he knows how her husband feels about the kids being here, so he needs to make up with her and let her come home. Mark then screenshot this and sent it to Coral. She came home and went straight to her room. She skipped practice. Leia is on her way, so when she gets home, we'll have a family meeting. Author update this story in the second time. So we had a long talk. Coral came down and apologized to Leia, and she was jealous about Brad. She also apologized to me for lying to her aunt. She believed that Leia got everything she asked for. So I had her explain, and the only thing she said was, Brad. As I was about to explain, Mark stepped in and told her that wasn't everything. Mark then explained everything Coral got, which included a room makeover, which Leia had to pay for on her own. A brand new laptop, after Leia had to pay for her entire computer setup. He then asked, is this really about a guy that she doesn't have anything in common with? Coral then told us how popular he was, and that because Leia is a nerd, they don't mesh. Other than cheerleading, Leia is in Quiz Bowl and a robot making club. Leia explained now that football was over, Brad was also in those clubs, and so are his friends who the other cheerleaders date. Coral then began crying again, because after the Facebook post, her friends explained that their boyfriends don't want to be involved with a liar and advised them to stop hanging with her, so they didn't sit with her at lunch today. Mark calmly told her that was her own doing. She broke down and said, I know. Mark then held her in his arms and apologized about sending her the screenshot and explained that I wasn't the bad guy. She then explained that Drea told her that I forced Mark to get full custody so that we all could be one big, happy family. So that, along with the Brad situation, made her lash out. She then ran to hug me, saying how sorry she was, and looked at Leia and apologized once again. I brought up family therapy, and everyone agreed. Coral took the post down already and apologized to Leia publicly. I know things are looking up, but without friends and this situation with her mom, I'm not sure what's going to happen. What I think about this story, to be honest, that's one good kid, and it's obviously been super useful in him being close enough in age and stuff to know the truth of the situation and try to act on that rather than unnecessary or tired loyalties. Then again, he is still a kid. And 14. Not so long ago himself, so used to all the high school dramas, but he seems to be growing up well. Let's check the user comment. Airing your business on social media makes something that could be controlled and handled into something all family and friends can feast on. I also think it is borderline abusive to kick a child out of their home. There are other punishments. You've told her now that is not her home, that it is temporary and can be taken from her at any moment. How can her father be okay with that? You crossed a line that should never be crossed, emo. She damaged your daughter's computer. That is obviously wrong and needed to be punished, but by telling her she doesn't have a home, while I get she has another home, you made it clear your home is her primary home. Her stepfather doesn't want her there. Of course, Kai helped. He knows the consequences. You should reflect on your feelings for your stepdaughter. Second story from the user, Big Lon JJ Let's Listen. I, 26 male, was in a relationship with my girlfriend, 26 female, for 6 years. I was engaged to her, and our marriage was scheduled in a few months' time. My girlfriend had a daughter at a really young age. Her ex left the state immediately after he heard she got pregnant. When I started dating my girlfriend, her daughter was 2. Over the past 6 years, I have pretty much considered her my own daughter and treated her as such. I had plans to legally become her stepfather after marriage. I loved my daughter so much. However, a couple of months ago, my girlfriend confessed she had been having an affair after I saw her texts from her coworker. The texts were so outrageous, that she really couldn't lie about the affair. She said she had been having an affair for a few months. I obviously canceled the engagement and the wedding and moved out a week later. My girlfriend's daughter was a bit confused, and it hurt me. But I really did not want to be around my girlfriend anymore. I have now completely cut off contact with both my girlfriend and her daughter. My girlfriend does still text me frequently and is asking me to reconsider at least maintaining a relationship with her daughter temporarily, because her daughter has constantly been asking where is dad and even been crying a lot. This does hurt me a lot, and I really wanted to maintain a relationship with my girlfriend's daughter. But the issue is that if I do go over to their house, I will have to see my girlfriend's face, and I just can't stand to see her face anymore. I am trying to leave it all behind, and already started going on new dates. Am I the AH? Author update this story. The guilt of not giving my ex's daughter closure was eating me up, and the comments agreed that she would probably get trauma issues in the future if she didn't get closure. So even though I didn't want to communicate with my ex ever again, I did it one final time to give her daughter closure. I texted my ex this morning and asked her if she could drop her daughter off at a neutral location in the evening, so I could spend a few hours with her and give her proper closure. My ex agreed, and at evening, she dropped her daughter off to me. Her daughter was really happy and emotional when she saw me, and we spent the next few hours doing a bunch of fun stuff. After a few hours, as her mom was on her way to pick her up, I told her that this would be the last time she would ever see me, and it was not her fault at all. She broke down in tears and kept asking why, and begged me to never leave. I lied and told her I had to move to a different country and would never come back. I told her if she wanted to make me happy, she had to be good to her mom. I gave her a stuffed dog toy and also a letter. She was really emotional and cried a lot at the end, especially when her mom came to finally pick her up. I said my goodbyes and told her I would always remember her. And that is probably my final update. Today was really heart-wrenching, especially seeing my ex's daughter crying like that, but I hope this gives her the closure she needs and that she understands it was not her fault. As for me, I will carry on with my life as usual, although right now I'm feeling extremely hurt and devastated. I have a nice job offer in another state, which I will probably accept. A change in scenery will also probably be good for me and my mental health. What I think about this story: what a trash situation. UP did nothing wrong, but I feel for the daughter and the loss of her relationship with the only father figure she's ever known. Her mom is so selfish to blow up her daughter's life for her side piece. Let's check the user comment. For similar reasons, this is why I stopped being a nanny and changed careers. Just couldn't handle it. I was nanny to a little boy, Ben, from when he was 4 months old to nearly 5 years old. I lived right next door and spent more time with him than I did with most of my own family. We had an incredibly close bond. He called me his best friend. I loved him like family. Then Ben's married father SA'd me. I had to move away, obviously. I wasn't able to see Ben one last time to say goodbye, or explain that he wouldn't see me again. I just had to up sticks and disappear. No other choice. It happened nearly 9 years ago, and I've never got over it. Ben would have turned 13 last month. I think about him so often, wonder how he is, what he looks like, what kind of kid he's grown into. More than anything, I wonder if he remembers me. Most people remember things, and people from when they're 4 years old, I think. But knowing what happened, his parents probably tried to erase all evidence and memories of me. Probably deleted all pictures of me from vacations and days out we had together. More than likely, they have never spoken about me since I left. So there's a good chance he's forgotten me. I have some tiny hope that if he does remember me, he may try to find me on social media when he's older and reach out, just so I can get closure and explain that I didn't want to leave him, and it wasn't because of him, but it's more than likely never going to happen. I miss him so much. Thanks to everyone who was with us today. It was very nice to see you all. Thanks for your support. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.